It's a VW Passat, and it's the best type, the one that's loved by high society and those on the council, an estate.
You join me now in the driver's seat behind the wheel of the VW Passat, the greatest vehicle to ever leave Germany. Don't quote me on that one. I don't actually know if that's true or not. But what I can tell you is the 2-litre turbo diesel, which you get in this vehicle, which produces a incredibly powerful 150 horsepower, is nice. I don't think you could ask for much more for that. I've used this car loads of times, airport trips, to the coast, up and down, going out and about, whether it be on motorways, dual carriageways, around local housing estates, which is what I'm currently doing. The vehicle itself is lovely. This is actually paired with the 7-speed DSG, so the dual clutch automatic gearbox, which in all fairness to it, I actually quite like. I know a lot of individuals have said that the DSGs can be quite jerky, and that is true. You can get the slight amount of what's called like DSG lag, I think people call it, which is where when you want to set off from your starting point, you'll then find, oh, it doesn't seem to go as quickly as you want it to. Now, let's wait for this car to go past. Here we go. Vehicle itself, smooth. I have found that when you do take off, for some reason it takes off in second gear. That's like a standard DSG sort of thing. It's a bit of a strange one. Just hit here where you can do national on a single. I'm not absolutely flooring it, but you can see that it gets up to speed quite nicely. And to be fair to it, it's a comfortable ride. These roads that I'm driving around at the moment, not the best roads in the world, because, well, they're the Fenlands. You can see from all the bouncing up and down. I like the car. I think it's a good vehicle. It's a good, honest workhorse vehicle. This is the estate version. When it comes down to practicality, you'll find that it is practical, but to an extent. So you can do an IKEA trip in it, no problem whatsoever, and we've done that multiple times. You can do a trip to the tip, really. You can put your dog in the boot and he'll be happy enough, or she. Could be a female dog. You will notice though, as I take this off the window, sorry, you join me back again. I had to reposition the camera mount. What was I saying? Yeah, you can put your dog in the back. You can put your female dog in the back if you want, because, you know, you can have male or female dogs. They're a good size. With regards to rear seats, right, so 3 adults in the back, not really a problem in my opinion. 2 adults in the front, well, you're going to fit 2 people in the front because there's 2 seats in the front. However, if you've got kids, now, 2 kids in the back, and I'm talking about ones in child seats. I've had a baby seat in here, and I've had one of those ones that, what you call it? When I say a baby seat, I mean like a rear-facing baby seat. And then I've had like a normal child seat in the back. One that's ISOFIX that they clip in frontwards facing, and one that they have with a seat belt that you can put over. That's fine. If you've got 3 kids, you're not putting 3 kids in the back there if they've got to sit in child seats. Particularly if you've got a rear-facing one, because that's one of the problems we face with the vehicle as it stands at the moment. It's not fit for purpose for having 3 children in the back if you want 3 children in the back. The way that that's currently set up is you have 1 child who sits in the front, not ISOFIX, and then you got 2 kids that are going to have to go in the back. And then your missus sits in the middle, but because it's only sort of like a half seat or a 60% seat, it's not comfortable. Particularly when you sat between 2 individuals that, well, sometimes they're asleep, sometimes they're not asleep. If you've got kids, you know what I'm saying. But because of that, practicality-wise, for more than 2 children and your partner, not there. I mean, you can do it. You can do that in multiple cars, but it's just not viable, which is a shame, really, because boot space is great. We've had the 2 kids in the back when we had the 2 of them, took them to France, boot filled to the top. Great, you can fit most of the stuff under the cover. And when I mean taking things there, I mean the stuff you need, you know, like clothes, your suitcase, pram, big old pram, great. Blooming, I think when we went as well, we took one of those weird little ladders that kids use, you know, when they're potty training. We had one of them fit in the back as well, and it was fine. The car was really good for it. But if you have to have an extra one in there, it's unfortunate, which is at my dismay, because it is a good quality family vehicle. And if you want to live that life of mum, dad, 2 kids, yeah, go for it. Don't get me wrong, it don't give you the fizz. It is literally just like an A to B sort of workhorse, but it does it in relative comfort. you got those ergonomic seats, which is fine. Comes with sat nav, or this particular one does. I got heated seats. I don't think I could live without heated seats now. Of course I could, but it is something that I like having, and it's got it. One of the quality things with the vehicle as well is this 68 plate, so basically, but it was registered in 19, so it's like a February 19, which is a 68 plate. That's a weird way of saying it. Anyway, it's got the LED lights on it. They still had the flick up on the side, but you can go into the menu and you can set the lights for you driving on European roads. You do that, then next thing you know, you ain't got to put those silly little stickers that are on there. Also, the speedo, of course, on your normal, because it's manual dials, you've got your miles, yeah, just your normal miles. I can call it miles per gallon, but you've got your miles on there, and then underneath it you've got your kilometers per hour. But there's a digital display in the middle, and the digital display in the middle, you can have that come up as miles per hour, or you can have it displayed as kilometers per hour. So when we were driving in France, I had the middle bit displayed in kilometers per hour, so it was nice and easy for me. And then you've also got the light setup so that you can drive at night with no problem. I know there's cars out there with like flat beams that don't have the flick up, so because of that, on dipped headlights, then you're able to drive in Europe with no issue. But this is not just dipped, but your actual full headlights as well. Full beam. What? Full beam you can drive with it. So yeah, it's good. It's got DAB radio in it so that I can get my Planet Rock. We all know how much I love that. Yeah, I can't really fault it for that. It's a really good quality vehicle for the money you pay for it. Mine's reasonably high miles. It's coming up to 92,000 miles on here. When I did get it, I think it was coming up to 78,000 miles it was a couple of years ago, and I'd only paid £14,000 for the car when I got it. These days, if you want this exact same vehicle from a dealer, of course, not private individual, 2-litre turbo diesel, the 150 horsepower, the DSG. This is the SE business one, so like the one that fleet car people would have had, or I guess if you had it for work or whatever it may be. Then yeah, this is the type of vehicle that when new would have cost you about 30 grand. Now you can pay anywhere from 9 through to, I suppose, still about 15. I probably wouldn't depend. I suppose it depends on the miles you might want to. I mean, mine, I got full service history with this, and then I've maintained full service history. Everything's been done. Gearbox been done, major service, minor service. Just keep it running along and treat it really, really well, and the car itself will treat you really well. When it comes down to faults, I have had a couple of faults. You can't lie about it. One of them was, fun enough, when we were in France. I was driving along, and then like this yellow coily light came up, which had something, and I'll tell you what, the power of it just sort of like disappeared. And because it was like 1 o'clock at night and we're on French motorways and we'd only just turned up, I was afraid to like stop and check it out. So I just kept driving, because the ambers, or yellow, you're okay to drive on according to the VW handbook. I wasn't sure what it was at the time, but it seemed to seriously reduce power. So all I did is I kept 50 miles an hour, which is around about 80 kilometers an hour, and then just drove that for the rest of the time. It took me absolutely ages to where we needed to be, which is it's a town called Arras. Got to where we needed to be, and by the time we were there, it was like 2:30 in the morning. Just thought, do you know what? Just get straight into the hotel. So went to the hotel, come out the next morning, worked fine. Didn't have any power loss or any reduction, just nothing like that whatsoever. So whatever had happened, it just seemed to be, I don't like it. And that had been after us driving constant for 7 hours. I say constant, we had a little break for the train, but it was about 7 hours or so. The only other issue I had was an amber engine warning light came up. No loss of power, no issues whatsoever, and that was a a resistor relay. It was a relay fault, and it was to do with the coil pack. Yeah, coil pack relay fault, I think it was. No issues whatsoever. Yeah, took it to VW. I still had a little bit of warranty under it, and they got it all sorted. It was an £18 part, which if you then had to actually pay for their diagnostics, which I think was like £150 main dealer cost, just to find out what the fault was, that would irk me quite a lot. But you know what? It was covered under warranty, so happy days. So you can't say it's been faultless motoring over the 2 and a bit years that I've had the car, because there has actually been issues, but they weren't really, well, one of them was more of a concern. The other one that actually was an issue, it is what it is. But yeah, it's just a really good vehicle. I'm sure you'll see from a walk around, which I'll put on there. Wheels, good size. I think they're 18-inch. I will put in at the bottom if that is not correct, because I'm not looking at them. You can tell I can care about it a lot because I obviously know what the wheel diameter is. Wouldn't be diameter. Is diameter. Anyway, yeah. It's silver. You could get it in a lot of other colours. Spacious wise, I'll put some inserts in there of what's in the boot. I do believe that when I do put that in there, there'll be like bags and a kid's little bag, and then obviously shopping bags because they're expensive, and it's always good to have reusable bags because save the planet and all that jazz. There we go. One of my favourite things actually, which I've never had on a vehicle before until I got this, was not stop start. Nobody likes that. That's a pain in the bum. In fact, here it is, stop start's just kicked in. It's auto hold, which I have to admit is absolutely wicked, because then you can put your foot on the brake and then the brakes stay on, and then you can take your foot off the brake and then you can relax your foot, and that is good times in my book. Let's get the sun out of my face. What else have we got that it comes with? You got a manual mode into it, you got a sport mode that's built into it. Ride quality itself, relatively comfortable, going around corners at pace. No, don't do that. Collision warning, that was, do you know what, it was like that was textbook, like that was planned. It's still flagged up telling me about collision warning, and that informs you if somebody's going to drive into the back of you and if somebody's going to drive into the front of you. As for accelerating away, we're just about to hit the dual carriageway. We'll put it into sport mode, shall we? I'd love to go fast, but there is a man in the way. Put your foot down and you're off to 70 miles an hour away from everybody. And let's be honest, that's as fast as you're legally allowed to go in Britain. So it does what it needs to do. When we were driving in France and you can cruise at like 80 miles an hour, cruises at that speed just fine. MPG, love it for that. Around town, I think I'm getting in my 40s, but when we're talking about on a long run, it's more than 50. I've driven up to Halifax quite a few times, and if you go from Peterborough to Halifax, they're around about 130 miles, maybe a bit more, pretty much all at the A1 because that's my favourite road in the entire world. And yeah, it's returned 55 to 60 miles per gallon, which you'd say, for a diesel, that's not amazing, but let's not forget that we are talking about an automatic. Yeah, it does what it needs to. Anyway, I'll finish you up with a little walk around the car, give you some facts and figures on the vehicle itself, if there's anything extra that you need to know. It's been fun times talking to you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Right, so you joined me today, stood in front of the lovely VW Passat with its wonderful 68 plate on it. As you can see, it is a estate in this gorgeous silver. I say gorgeous, it's business silver, so it's not really gorgeous, it's a bit of a dull one. It's got these lovely wind deflectors that are on the front, which I'm actually a fan of, because I don't like getting pounded in the face by a load of wind when I just want a small amount of breeze and the window open a little bit and it's raining. So say what you want to say. I know people call them vape vents and that, but I ain't vaping because I'm an old man. I don't need to do stuff like that anymore. We didn't do vaping when I was a kid. Wheels, I did say, I'm sure I said that they were 17s, but I actually think that they're 18s. Or did I say that they were 18s? I'm not entirely too sure. I cannot quite remember. But yeah, I think it looks all right for the type of vehicle that they are. The car itself's quite nice. It looks good when you park it in the Tesco's car park, which is where I am today, because once again, I'm spending my life sat in car parks. And when you get over the fact that it's mildly embarrassing when there's several people that are watching you as you stand next to a car to talk to your telephone on a selfie tripod, the things I do for fun, which I'm beginning to feel are maybe not so fun. That's not what we're getting at. So we need to have a little look around the vehicle itself. I'll show you on the inside of it. We'll look at the front, we'll look at the back, and we'll take it for a little drive in a little bit. Here we are on the inside of the car, giving it a nice little look around. As you can see, I keep a child seat in the front passenger. I keep a Pepsi can in the center console because water's for losers. Yeah, reasonably spacious. On some of the higher spec models, they do have the panoramic roof. I do not have that because I ain't got panoramic roof money. The doors at the front open nice and wide. Door at the rear also opens nice and wide, as you can see. Quite good. I've only got the other child seat set up in the back here. These are these ones that attach via seat belts. As I said before, you cannot get 3 seats in a row in this vehicle. You can already see from here, look at that space in the middle. It's absolutely useless. You can put your 2 kids in the back, but you definitely can't fit 3. You do get, if I open this up, cup holders in the middle, which the kids do use, although they have them built into their chairs as well, because nothing's, yeah, what am I talking about? Right, so you got blooming pockets on the back here. Vents, they're pointing straight up in the air because it's either too hot, too cold. Kids don't like it. The side of the doors, you'll be able to put a big bottle in these. What they've also got as well is this felt lining, which is quite nice so stuff doesn't rattle around in it. You do have ISOFIX located in the back. You can see here that I've got my dog's safety harness in there, which is quite good. Close the doors. Let's close the other door. It is quite spacious, to be fair, when we've got all of us in it. Back of the vehicle, good sized boot. Open it up. I love the fact that you press this to open it up. As I said before, loads of bags in here. Look at that. You can well tell this is a parent's vehicle. I like this load cover does that. Pop that up out of the way. There's the space in the back. I've got things such as a potty in here because parents... Oh, where's the other part of it? Look, there you go. Just in case. Do you know what? As a side point, which is a very parent-specific thing, because this boot floor is like one of those ones that can go up and down a little bit. I do have a real tyre underneath it, but that's not what we're getting at. This particular potty, because of the height of what this is, my kids have sat and had a wee in the boot of the car before because it will fit there. You've got tie down points, you got the ability to fling your chair forwards, which I won't do because there's a baby seat on it. There's the top tether connections. The load cover's good enough. Do you know what, if I move that back, I'll move that out of the way a little bit, you can see there's a bit more space in here. You've got loads of space on the side as well for certain things. Let's get that's the kids' nappy bag out of the way. The reason why I got this is for the boot. In fact, one of the things you can do is if you drop the chair down and then you have this boot floor set up so that it's completely flat all the way down, I can lay on this quite easily. It's more than 6 foot. I mean, I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'11" and 3/4. No, I'm not 6 foot tall, but you can easily lay down in this with plenty of space above. I've had the IKEA things where you've got through loading that goes all the way through there and sits on the armrest if it needs to. Super spacious. Super spacious. Let's close the boot. Go around the side. This still uses good old-fashioned AdBlue. So every 7,500 miles, you've got to dump another 15 quid's worth of AdBlue in there. But yeah, I like the car. Mirrors, they're the heated ones, so that if it's been snowing or they're frosty, it gets rid of the stuff nice and easy. You can see on here that I've got my Crit Air sticker for when driving around in the continent, specifically France. Funnily enough, you can use those Crit Air stickers in Switzerland as well, so you don't need to get an extra one. And I think you can in some places in Belgium. I did put the UK sticker on the wrong side. It should be on this one, but, you know, who's going to complain? The French police, but we'll leave them. But yeah, car itself's really good. I like it. And if you want a good quality family vehicle, this is the one to go for. Or at least in my eyes, it's the one to go for. I'd rather this than the old SUVs. So yeah, give a Passat a go. Give a Passat a home. Let's make sure that they don't go extinct. I know the Arteons come in to take place of the saloon ones, but as estate cars go, it is really good. I can't sing its praises enough, except for, you know, holding 3 kids. So if you decide to have a 3rd child, probably don't go for this one, unless you want to put one of them Multimax in the back, but you can't use those for super young children. So yeah. Well, if you like this video on the Passat, or if you like these review videos, if they think they could be improved, which I'm sure most people can, then please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. If there's a car that you'd like me to have a look at, if there's a vehicle you'd like me to drive, I'd love to have a go in it. It'll be a nice little bit of fun to go out and try a few of the cars to compare against them. In fact, I would like to drive the Skoda diesel to see how different the vehicle is to this, alongside the A4 diesel estates, or Avant, because it would be interesting to know, is there actually a real difference between Passat, a Skoda and an Audi, like in build quality, in drivability, and obviously there's style and the badge premise, but it would be interesting to know. So please, like I say, give us a like, give us a subscribe, drop a comment, anything interesting you want to know or anything you want to ask me, please feel free and ask me. and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.